Do you need a ride to today? Maybe. I guess I'll wake you up at 4:30. Just in case. I need to know.
What's up, guys? I will be ready in just a second. I'm currently sending Stu from Kilohearts something, so give me a couple minutes. Hello, hello. Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome, welcome. It's Thursday. Tis be Thursday. And do you know what that means? It means that today, Alckemy, me, is going to do some stuff. We're going to take a look at your tunes. In order to submit, what you do is you go into the Discord. You go to Alckemy's beat block, or wait, what is it called? It's something like that. Alckemy beats your block. Yeah, Alckemy beats your block. We've already got plenty of submissions today, so get in while you can. I have about 2 hours to get through stuff, so today's feedback is going to be a little bit fast, if that's okay. I didn't realize that I needed to take my brother to work, so there it is. Let's see, other news, other current events. Let's see, the computer is working so far. That's good news. I'm happy to, oh, if you guys didn't know, Copycat is opening for lessons. I have one booked for next Wednesday, so you guys should definitely go hop on that. If you guys want private lessons from me, then you can also do that. Go check out the new pack called Eternum, where I have cool stuff. What else? Yeah, I don't know. Support the channel if you love me. Please. Let's see. I got a job offer, and I don't know if I'm going to take it or not, because if I take it, that means that this channel will come to... it won't come to an end, but the upload frequency will decrease significantly. But what can you say? Okay, so that's all the stuff from me. Let's go ahead and come on into this. Kilohearts recently released a new plugin, or a new snap-in, which I'm excited to try. I have not yet tried it yet, but it looks something like this. What's the job? Traveling. Non-linear filter. This looks cool. So I don't have a license for it yet, but I'm getting one. But it looks interesting. So, ooh, it has distortion. Holy shit. Okay, this is gonna be dope. Yeah, so that'll be cool. Hey, Zenkaso, welcome. Yeah, I made this pad earlier today from, I had a private lesson earlier and we made that. I'm not really going to talk too much about it, but pretty much one thing that I wanted to mess with on this was this ring mod thing. Yeah, this double ring mod. It sounds really cool. Wait, what happened here? What happened to the music? Oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah, so we got a really cool little like... Really like that. It's good stuff. And I think that I'm just using... Oh yeah, I'm using a couple things. Cool. So welcome everybody. Today I kind of just wanted to do a little thing. I've been playing Crosscode a lot lately, which kind of has music like this, and so it's been kind of cool to just make stuff. So yeah, it's something for the background, right? Welcome once again to submit. Go to Alckemy Beats Your Block in the Discord. Where's the Discord? It's in the description. And we will be doing tune feedback. So let's see who we have on Deckums. We've got... Holy cow! Wait. Oh, okay. Wait, what? How many people do I have today? Yesterday, today, early stream. Okay, we've got Sincasso first. This is a whip. I swear it better be. We have Upsilon. We've got Doja. We've got Kat Yi. We've got Kim Yona. We've got Stealth Dubs. Also David Hustle, his Hoff. We've got Snare. We've got Hanging Out Down the Street. We've got Zesty Chunk. So yeah, we've got a few people. Yeah, dude, YouTube doesn't notify me about your activity, man. I've got the bell on. What the fuck? I don't know, dude. I'm sorry. I go live often. I know that it doesn't help that I don't have like an actual schedule and stuff, but wow, this music is really fitting to my confusion and loss of words. Yeah, I know that I don't have a schedule, but I don't really know what to do about the notification thing. I've kind of been thinking about like not changing platforms by any means because I'm kind of stuck with YouTube, but as far as like doing some other stuff, I've been thinking about switching it up. Hey, can I make a formal request before we get started? Okay, guys, you know that I love you, right? We have 11 people in here. Can you guys please, like... I'm so sorry for sinking this low and selling out, but if you guys get the chance, can you, like, just take 10 minutes out of your day? Doesn't need to be today. Doesn't need to be right now. And just go through my videos and do me a favor and just like them and put a comment in them. I don't know what happened, but I got kicked out of the algorithm, and I don't really want to show you guys like how much money I used to make and how much money I make now, which is totally fine, by the way, but I totally like got kicked out of the algorithm. And let me see if I can just give you a little sneak peekums. Okay, there we go. So look, I don't know what happened, but this is going down every day. This is also going down every day. I used to have like I'm down like 50%. So if you guys can tell your friends about me. Comprehensive Guide to Neurobase 2. I put out Comprehensive Guide to Neurobase 3. We're on season 3 right now on that. So yeah, I'm sorry for the shallow I'm sorry for the shallow request, but I just, like I said, I don't know what's going on, and I hope that it's not too pretentious to ask for a little bit of help. I'm not asking you to give me any money or anything, but just if you can, put me back in, or try to get me back in, or something. I don't know. It's not good for me. Long story short. But we're not here for that. I'm not here to complain. I'm here to talk about your tunes. So we're going to start with Zincasso. We've kind of got a lineup already, and then we'll get into it. I don't know. Has my content like just totally taken a dump, or like what's going on here? Am I not making quality anymore? I've been thinking of switching up my content myself too. Oh, all right. Well, here we go. What? Zincasso. Okay, what about look, this even looks mastered. What about this isn't done? You better tell me. What what about this isn't done? If you say I don't know, I'm gonna be really upset with you. Because as much as I'd love to just do wait, what? Yeah, what kind of whip is a 5-minute whip? I love your music, Zincasso, but send me something that's like a fraction of this. Hey, Ellen. Oh, Ellen, I owe you an apology. I totally forgot. I'm sorry, but I will honor last week. My bad. Okay. 3 things. Your snare needs to cut through the mix a little bit more. Your sidechain's a little bit too heavy. Find something, or find a way to tie the vocal into an earlier part of the tune. From now on, Zen Caso, hey, you know I love your music, dude. You know it's really awesome. But send me something that is like not this close to being done, because you can mix this and master it and just release it. It is definitely playable. You do this to me almost every stream. You're lucky I love you. Good stuff, man. That's really all I have. Mix, snare, tie in the vocal at the beginning. That's the only thing that I can really say for that. So yeah, send me something that's like a minute and a half long next time. All right. That was beautiful. Okay, Upsilon, you're next. This is cool. Okay. All right. I actually have a lot for this. So the first thing that I would do is, one way that you can write an intro for this is to take the kind of metallic, kind of like Tommy sounding stuff, and at the very beginning kind of leave that loop on, but with 100% reverb, or just take one of those notes and kind of then reverse it, do like a reverse reverb thing into it playing full force of like bump 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 bump, and then just drop the beat. So for the second part, what you could do is maybe like pick one of these elements, either the bass or that kind of riff that you have, and either you can play that riff at an octave higher, or what you can do is change that sound, or you can play like something that's more focused on the bass. So like you can take all that away and go like boom boom dum boom boom dum boom boom, and then like add like a more interesting mid bass in that or something. So once you have that, you've got your intro, you've got your main section, which is right here already. Then you've got that second piece. Then what you can do is, if you want to add a third part to that, you can just add in like another like rhythmic element, like something that's more traditional, like drum loop or something, and then kind of like a shaker, or maybe like another hat pattern or something, and then you've pretty much got the first half of the tune written. So that's like that one's an easy one, but this one sounds really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and play this again. Hey, Chesney, I don't know if I butchered your name or not. Sorry. Arrangement tips are useful even when it's not my tune. I don't even remember. I don't keep the feedback VODs, because people usually ask me for feedback and they don't change anything about their tune, and then I end up getting copyrighted, so I don't keep those. Nothing personal, just I don't want to have that issue on my channel. But I don't remember what your SoundCloud name is. I'm sorry. I don't remember what it was that you sent. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for that. And that's your arrangement right there. This stands hard enough on its own with a little bit of mixing, and I wouldn't really change anything about this, to be honest. So yeah, just add the beginning, add the next part, and then you're good to go. And then you can either repeat that, or you can do the same thing where like maybe you repeat, or like maybe you duplicate and vary it a couple of sections, then you just pick your favorite one for the second section, and then you just do an outro, and then your tune is done. Super simple. It's an Indian name, so I understand you pronouncing it in a different way, but it was close. Is it Janine? Sorry, I'm not going to continue to butcher it. If you want to tell me how to say it, then you can. Thank you so much. Yeah. Sorry, the feedback is short, but that's really like that's really all I think you need to do for that. It's definitely banger material. All right, Doja. Some old project I decided to work on, but don't really know how to keep going. All right, let's see what you got. Donkey Kong vibes?
to know where you are. Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? The sun is dark.
You got stereo in your sub?
Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? It's fine, want to know where you are. Why keep you hiding where the sun is dark? The sun is dark.
Yeah, you can resend that one if you want. All right. Yeah, I think that you've got a lot going for you, but I think like part of the reason why maybe you don't feel inspired to go to the next part is because I still think that it needs maybe like a pad or some kind of other melodic thing to kind of emphasize that. And so what you can do is like you've already got an intro and you've already got a main section. And so what do you want to do with this? Do you want to ride the vibe? Are you wanting this to switch up? Are you wanting this to kind of just continue on? Because like if you kind of just want this to be a nice, easy, like chill liquid roller, then all you have to do is just, take away the vocals for the second part, allow some focus on the bass, and then maybe add like some other kind of motions in the background, like, or maybe some delays or something, or maybe like elaborate on the piano melody, right? Or what you can do is take away all the other stuff, and you can... Sorry, hold on. You can take everything but the bass and the vocal away, and then you can kind of slowly fade the music back in. And that might actually be a good idea because that can take you into the bridge. And if you do that, so like where you start to low pass the music back in, then that can open you up to do like something that's actually like a musical piece right there. So you can elaborate on the chords or you can elaborate on the singing, and then you can just repeat the first section again and your tune is done. Boom, on the money today. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it was just the timing of when I had my coffee. Yeah, a great reference tune that you can use for this is Live on Your Smile by Ivy Lab. That's one of my favorite songs, and it just has just an amazing juxtaposition. And yeah, that's already much better than what I had in mind. I mean, keep in mind too, like it is just a suggestion, right? So like take it for what you will, but that's what I would do with this tune. I could live on your smile. Yeah, that's such a good tune. That Ivy Lab. Hey, what up, Ryan? Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ivy Lab. So is there anything else? Yeah, one thing that's kind of not sitting well with me though is also like your bass. It just, something doesn't seem quite well with it. And so make sure that your low end is in mono, and then you can spread out the kind of subby higher harmonic wub if you want, but just really make sure that the low end is super duper. Old Flight maybe reminds me just a little. I don't know what that tune is. Yeah. All right. Kat, you are next. Then we've got Kimona. Then we've got Stealth Dubs. Then we've got Snare. Then we've got Hanging Out. God, every time I read that name, it reminds me of the fucking That 70s Show. Sorry, not trying to make fun of your name. It's just what it reminds me of. Then we have Zesty. Then we have Elam or Elam. Then we have Nastia. Then we have Prototheist. Then we have Riley. Then we've got Jake. Then we've got Gingerbread. Okay, cool. Fire off. Okay. Flight is a rare D&B producer that isn't from the UK. He's rare as in like he's hard to find. You guys take the poll. What comes after boots? Is it pants or cats? Class canceled. Glad I got to catch a stream and join these whips. Nice. KU5. Long Whip King. It's not me, Nick. Yeah, those are fighting with each other. The lead is fighting with the rest of the music, but I think that's just a volume thing. You guys are hitting me with these debates, man. Yeah, let's not do like a rating system. It's not very helpful. Say what you like and what you don't like, but I don't think that we need to put something on a scale. Then again, actually go ahead, because Cat didn't follow directions. Five out of 5 lines. Scroll down. You know I don't do mix feedback, dingus. You know I don't do mix feedback. So why? What is this supposed to be? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I really wish that this section would be somewhere earlier in the tune, like where you just allow this to play on its own, because that's super groovy. I love it though. Can appreciate it. Yeah. Nice tune, Cat. You know that I love your music, but you didn't follow directions. So, yoink. Guys, if you're wanting to submit, the purpose of this stream is to help you figure out how to finish your tune, not to help you mix it, not to help you master it. I don't do mix feedback, one, because I don't like doing mix feedback unless if something is blatantly obvious, and two, I don't have the tools in order to give you like proper mix feedback on. I can't pull up a spectral analyzer and be like, look at your snare. I can't. Send me tunes that like you're stuck on, something that like I wouldn't consider like not being able to finish a mix something. The song is done, the mix is not, right? So the arrangement is done. So send me stuff that you actually have like beat block on, something of like an actual component that doesn't have the complete arrangement. Just because that's going to be the best way. Like I can give you the best advice when you do that. If it's done, like I can't tell you to do anything different because the tune is done, right? So, you know this, Cat. Why are we having this conversation, man? But that doesn't take away from the quality of this music by any means. And that's not what I'm trying to get at, because the tune is great. It's just not what I'm looking for. Needs more cowbell, honestly. Yeah, my favorite thing about this though is I actually really like this part the best. And it's not that this other stuff is uninteresting. It just, this is the only pocket right here that actually lets me focus on like building the part of the groove, right? So I think that you like drop in that melody a little bit too soon. But yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Catawake always brings quality tunes, and he's very like versatile as well. He makes a lot of different music. So yeah, good stuff. All right, Kimonia. Invading Your Brain. It's in D flat minor, but notes change. Oops, even mine is not a whip. Just ignore it. Sorry. Yeah, don't send me finished tunes. Yeah, for sure. But like I said, if you want me to be helpful and actually like give you advice, then send me something that's not close to being done. This is perfect. So yeah, what's up with your stereo information? I think that like one thing that is really cool about this, but is like you haven't quite nailed it yet, is the relationship between going from like a really wide sound into rip if had on headphones. Yeah, you go from really wide to a mono signal, and I think that it's cool, but the call and response that you have set up doesn't quite work for me that well yet. Hey, Nikolai. So what I would recommend is maybe looking at having more staccato sounds in here first, and then maybe picking one sound to be your response that's a little bit more sustained. Okay, and then also like there's some inconsistencies with like your pew pew versus all of the other sounds, right? Okay, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, and like you could consider this to be a mixed thing, but I actually want you to pay attention to this part right here, because that is such a heavy part of the rhythm that is really important. And so like you really want to make sure that you bring stuff up like that in order to match the energy that you're trying to go, because if you think about it, that's the only thing that's playing in the spaces between your kick and snare, right? And so like if you're not going to have anything else in that sense, like you really need to make those sounds as big as possible in order for them to matter, because then it's like you have this like really cool and wide sound that's really big and open, and then you have something like that and it's like, wait, what? So if you were doing something a little bit different where like you weren't having a consistent rhythm that's like, do you use the non-linear filters in phase plant? I just got it today. I got an NFR license, so I'll be doing a review on it later, but I haven't had a chance to touch it yet. So what was I talking about? Yeah, your call and response in that sense, like that's one way that you can make that a little bit stronger, right? Cool. And so like even with this right here, right? Boom, 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 right? The call that you have on here isn't really matching up to your drums. And that's one thing that I actually like want to give to all of you guys, is like when you're making a call and response, like try to make it all make sense, because that right now you have several kicks in here, and then you've also got a long sustained note right there. So what I would do is maybe think about how you can play with the relationship between those two instruments, or those, I guess, groups of tracks or whatever, to make that stronger. So like right here, if you take a listen, like why was that kick there? Sorry, like I'm not like grilling you or anything, but think about that. Like why did you place that kick there? And sometimes it's just like because it's at the time. I would drop the drums. I would maybe just do like one kick and then like one snare in between, and then do something like a break, right? And that's actually one of my favorite things to do in music, where you go like but right now within this like dubstep tune or whatever, right, you've got all these kicks and stuff, but they don't make sense towards the I guess like the main section that you have over that. And one thing that you can use as well to help make this a little bit more push and pull is actually like take away the reverb at first, and like it's going to sound more dry, which is like something that a lot of times like can make it sound quote unquote boring. But what that will allow you to do is it will give you a bigger space, or like a bigger sense of control, to create a push and pull, because you've got these sounds that kind of like they're not super wet, but you have these sounds that kind of bleed over each other. It takes away from it because it makes it sound like everything is blending, as opposed to having really hard transients and really hard stuff that's like. But in order to do that, like, you need to keep your sounds relatively dry, or at least mostly dry, except in certain spaces. Like, one thing that you can do is have reverb on your snare, or I think that you have the right idea by having like wide and narrow sounds. But once those sounds end, turn the reverb off. Unless if you're doing something in reverse. And the reason why is because you can still maintain that idea of like going from big to small. But what it allows you to do is create like a sense of breathing within that. That's something that I do in my tunes a lot. So that's kind of what I would try to focus on for making this a little bit better. Excuse me. Or to try to make this, like, I guess, work. It's not that it doesn't work, but... And then what I would do from there for a second section is, like, you've already got like really cool sound design. And so what you can do is just take these sounds and then create something that's a little bit more musical and streamlined to go into the next section. And what that will do is pick up the energy, but it will also help you go into something that's a little bit easier to follow, right? So like, even if you just took these two hits right here, like, that could totally work. LFOs or curve automation make it easier. So what I do is I just send everything to a return channel like this, like everything except for the sub. And then I'll just do something like this where I'll have a reverb fill. And then let's say like I wanted to come in and swell right here and pull it up. And then when the new transient hits, I just cut it off. And that makes it super easy to do. And that way you only have to do one reverb. And like, you can do this like with the rack with a bunch of different effects, but that way you don't have to like focus on like keeping up with automation and stuff. I already do so much micro editing anyways that like the less automation that I can do, the better. Modulation and micro edits and audio is where it's at. So yeah, that's what I have for this one. To do the reverb. Wait. Yeah, okay, cool. Just making sure that we're on that. All right, Stealth Dubs, you're next, dude. Hello there. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you can drop a comment or something here that's like, hey, this is what I'm working on. Okay, Zesty, thank you. You get an A+. I don't know where to go with it or how to make it sound. Oh, damn it. Okay, be specific. All right. Boy, if you want that promised, I have a friend that can hit you up. Wait, what? What? Yeah, leave a comment. Leave a comment. Tell me what's up. You don't have to like make a new comment. Just edit the one that you already have, so that way I know what to look for. That's helpful. And don't be that person that's like, scroll down and read the whole description. Like, just put it in the Discord, so that way I don't have to find it. Pills. Is that Captain Falcon?
Hands up. Hands up. Hands up. Hands up. Hands up, man.
Oh, it's Falco. This was cool. I think that I really like the arrangement aspect that you have, but the problem is that you've got 3 different rhythms that aren't playing nicely with each other. So like what I mean by that is that it almost sounds like they never quite line up together at any point in time in the rhythm, except for maybe the downbeat. And so like, if you're going to do that, you can make that work, but I would discern or like descend into like obscurity even more than what you're doing. But right now with the bass rhythm that you have, and then also the arpeggiated like mid synth, those two aren't playing nicely together, and that kind of makes it seem a little bit smeared, if that makes sense. So what you can do is really just like maybe pick one of those rhythms. Like to me, the biggest thing that I listen to is that arp thing, the bump, 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 bump. Right? I would make that super dry, and I would try to make that stop as early as possible, so that way it actually sounds like the whole thing is pulsing. And I think that would actually be really sick, because maybe what's going on is it almost makes it seem like you've got two different bass lines that are happening, which would make sense. You've got a mid bass and a sub bass, but if you played everything together in that sense, then it would actually kind of sound like you're going like boom, 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 boom. That snare took 6 months to get right. That's funny. So that's the biggest thing that I have with this. And then once you get into this part right here, you need to add some other kind of like progression or some kind of switch up to this, because right now it kind of just sounds like you copy pasted this and then did just a couple things different, but the tune doesn't get any more interesting. And I know that you like change the rhythm and stuff, but it's not really that discernible, and it doesn't like make a big difference. It doesn't progress the tune. And so that's really what I would focus on for this. What you can do is add in some like rhythmic elements or something, or you can add in like an actual melody, boom, 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 boom. Or, you know, maybe bring in a different sample or something of, you know, hands off my, right, or something along those lines. I think would be really cool for that. Let me listen to some of the intro again. Okay, so what could be cool is like you can actually take this ARP and slow it down to half speed and just go, wait, hold on. Boom, 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 boom. Right, that would be a really cool like thing to kind of place in as like your bridge or whatever, and then you can kind of just go back into the same piece of the tune. So yeah, that's pretty much what I would do for this one. It sounds really good. It's definitely got the heaviness and the vibes and stuff. I think that you just need to clean it up a bit more, and then there's that musical idea for the next section, or at least add something rhythmic or something to kind of like keep it spicy, right? But yeah, dude, good stuff. All right, who is next? Snare. Dubstep from 2010? Imagine. Yo, dog, I got a whip and it's like 11 years old. And it starts wiggling the closer it gets to the drop. Wait, what? Thanks for the feedback. I'll work on it. For sure.
The reality is everything changes. If you're doing real good, at some point, something bad's going to happen in your life.
Wait, is this the Disclosure song? Your flow is where your energy goes. Bum, 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 bum. That's a crazy video.
All right? So the first thing E.T. does to keep myself on fire and to try to stay in the zone is I am aware. Listen to me, I think a lot of times what hurts people is not the situation itself, but they get caught off guard.
Interesting. Yeah, that definitely doesn't sound like 2010 dubstep, but what you really want to do is just like elaborate or change up or mix up the idea of dun 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 dun. And some ways that you can do that is like you do change up the rhythm where like you kind of speed up the wub or whatever in certain particular places, but what you should maybe consider is actually breaking the sub in certain pieces, like as your second section. So as opposed to dun 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 dun, maybe you can do like bum da bum dun 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 bum 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 fire bum 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 bum, and then like that's how you can also like tie in the vocal to match your call and response in that sense. Like one thing that I would also try to, I don't think that really works for this tune as well, is just kind of bringing the vocal back and just like letting it play over itself, just because it doesn't, like, the thing that you're doing, the reason why it doesn't work is because you're keeping all of the main energy of the tune and then adding that vocal on top of it, like we're supposed to listen to it, right? So like take away all the other stuff, put a low pass on it if that's really what you want to do. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't giving you bad advice, but but yeah, like if you're going to like bring in the vocal and it's a really important piece of the tune, then lower everything else out and make space for that vocal to kind of sift through. And what you can even do is maybe even consider like doing more creative things by cutting the vocal or doing different pitching or like doing different effects to it in that sense. So that way, as the sub is going along, you start to think about playing the vocal as an instrument as well. So like you can even cut and slice the words up to match a rhythm, maybe the same rhythm as the bass line. You can add a vocoder to it and do like a chord progression or on top of that. So that way it actually is like it's talking, but it's doing something musical. You can layer instruments. So like you can do the syncopation thing or whatever. And then like, you know, like, yeah, definitely like layer different instruments on top of that. But I think that like what you're going for in particular is something that is more simple. So yeah, having some space in there in some places could be really nice. And like it's one great place to start is by like adding a fill or something. I was hoping that you were going to add that right there. Fill. Right? So something like that, you know, and that could just be like a tom fill. It can be, you know, like a variation of the bass that you've already made or so, but that's kind of what I would work on for that. Like I think like the initial vibe of this is really strong. But the thing about it is that like you have to switch it up a little bit, or you have to add progression to it in some way or another in order to keep it interesting in that sense, right? So like, yeah, it just depends on where you want to take it. If you want to do something that is more musical, then add chords on top of it or add a melody. Like a lead could work on top of this too, depending on like what direction you want to take it in. For me personally, I always go for heavier, so I usually tend to stray away from melodic stuff. Melodic stuff. But that's not to say like that might not be something that you want to do, right? So just kind of keep that in consideration. But that's what I would do to start with, is like duplicate and variate, and start by adding some simple syncopation to the next section and see where that takes you, and try to see if you can build a stronger relationship between the vocal and the bass line that you've already created. Everything else seems pretty okay, I would say. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, hanging out, you are next. Good one, MP3. Hope it alerts me when you... Oh, okay. Hopefully you're here. Are you here? Imagine. He's not even here. Definitely add some kind of riser right here. Oh, hey Fritz. You're back. Oh man, what a way to leave us on blue balls. That was really cool. Yeah, I think that like you just need, there's a couple of like key spots in this rhythm that I would fill in. For example, let me find it. Let me see. And then obviously you know that like adding transitions and stuff like would help this like tenfold, right? whoop. Something right there, right? Boom, 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 whoop, boom, 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 boom. You know, something like that. I think would like really help kind of pull that in, because that way it'll go from like and then it comes back up, right? And I don't know. I have a feeling in my soul that having something there would make that rhythm a lot stronger in that sense. Okay, and then right there, like having like some kind of like pitch bend or something, or of like a sub bass of like over the whatever that was. It sounded like Banjo Kazooie. Man, I missed that game. Having something right there can also be super duper helpful to kind of like the lasers are the lasers can work, but something that's just as prominent in the mix. That's whatever it is that you decide to do. It could be that Vox, it could be something different, or like you can, there's a lot of choices that you can make with that. Let me listen to where to go next. Okay, so that section right there, that boom, 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 like I honestly feel like you should make that as a second section. Because this other stuff, like this first idea that you have, can be elaborated on so much, but that little snippet is such a strong idea. And so what you can do is like have another build up and then kind of go into something that is like, do bum bum dum bum bum dum 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 bum dum bum dum bum dum dum bum dum dum bum bum dum 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 bum dum dum bum. And I think that like elaborating on that idea can really go far. Like I know your music, and I know that like you have a lot of really cool variation. You have a bunch of different parts and stuff, but sometimes like picking some of these really good ideas that you have and like giving them a little bit more of the highlight can actually help you flesh out like doing more of the tune. And then what you can do is after taking those ideas and then kind of spreading them out a little bit, then you can go and make subtle changes to it. And then you can add in like more intricacy and stuff to like figure out how to basically add more content to the timeline, I guess would be the best way to put that. More horizontal content as opposed to vertical content, right? Like even that right there, right? That's such a strong like boom, boom, boom. Yeah, man, like even just the boom, boom, like that could literally be a call and response on its own. And like you can just like do sub like all of those would work, especially like in a position to where like you're trying to emphasize the rhythm and just be like, here is this pocket of dopeness, like stay in it. So it doesn't always have to have this much movement. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't, because I do think that everything that you have so far works, but I do think that you can cross-pollinate a lot of content that you have, just because it's so they're like you have so many good ideas in this small amount of time in general. So that's kind of what I would go for in this particular scenario. Lasers don't make any sound. Who was the guy who decided that they sound white noise? Should we call that a laser sound? Well, the beam doesn't make noise, but perhaps what fires the laser is what makes the noise. So I don't know. Think about that one. Anyways, Fritz, great tune, dude. Much love. Okay, we've got Zesty, then we got Ellen, then we got Nastu, then we got Prototheist, and then we've got still plenty more people. Cool. Thanks for the feedback. You're welcome, dude. I make the noise with my mouth. The pew, 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 pew. That's like hard style. Who's next? Zesty? Just a fun short idea I had. I don't know where to go with it or how to make it sound better. Specific details? There's nothing specific about that. Why is this on YouTube? Oh, that was nice. Because I don't know how to use SoundCloud. That's fair. Sort of. It's 2021. You don't know how to use SoundCloud? Totally reminds me of something from like Sonic Adventure. That was super cool. So honestly, man, like the length. Wow, yeah. The thing that impresses me so much about your music, because I think like you sent stuff to me before, right? Hey Proto, is the fact that like you managed to do an entire arrangement of a tune in such a short amount of time, and it always works so well. No. This is fine. I'll take whatever. Actually, I needed some feedback on that. Okay. So cool guitar tones. I like the palm muty bits. So one thing that I think can be useful is like, especially in the last part, like you have all of the instruments playing together, but like the right, like that should kind of have its own placement, and you should take away some of the instrumentation on that in order to kind of let that moment kind of shine through. But I mean, really, like it's crazy. Like I this is a tune. It's got a beginning, it's got a middle, it's got an end. The only thing that you might want to consider is just elaboration, right? And if you're going to do that, then it would obviously make your tune longer. Like what is the key of this? Do you know? That's so funny. That's like the number one question that I ask people when it comes to melody, and like 80% of the responses I get is I don't know. Yeah, dude, what key is this in? Tell me you don't know. Tell me you don't know what key it's in. Okay, it's in D. All right. Guitar. Hold on one second. Sharp, E, F, sharp, G. Probably C because my guitar is in drop C. Okay. Okay, so C. Oh, there is a key change in there. My guitar is out of key. Well, okay. Anyways, what I would know is a D, my bad. Okay, we're going to skip past that because I'm wasting too much time and embarrassing myself. So before we get into that, what I would do is maybe just like grab your guitar and put something like over the top. Very mixed feelings. I don't have any mixed feelings about this. I think it sounds really good. But yeah, space it out a little bit. The like slow that down. And what I mean by slow it down is like take away some of the rhythmic elements that push the tune forward, and really focus on like just having like a pocket rhythm right there. Boom, 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 and then continue to play out and stuff. But really, that's like the only thing that I have for this, dude. I think that it's, or if you want a solo over the top, I had another string playing in the background. Yeah, this is like, you're pretty much done with it. I mean, what else would you want to add to this? Like I'm still so impressed, like how much you fit into this and made it into a song in this amount of time. Alec, you want a solo? No, because I'm going to butcher your tune. And my guitar is out of key. Piff. LOL. Yeah, this is cool, man. Really, really nice stuff. I'm sorry I don't have much more to it, but like it's pretty much almost done. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't want to butcher your tune. That's why I'm declining. I need more work on my own playing. Okay, LM, you are next. Read description. Why don't you... How about you read this description and you copy and paste? That way I don't have to go fishing for it. Guys, look, check it out. I'm going to give you a hard time over this because it's funny. Just look, all you have to do... Copy. Wait, do I have the ability to edit your message? No, I don't. Okay, that would have been funny if I have the dictatorship to do that. I'll just paste it. That's what I gotta do. Copy pasta. It's not like nobody's gonna read this, right? Because I pull it up on stream anyway, so you might as well post it in the Discord. This is an E major. This is so cool. I don't feel like that first melody fits though. Whoa, what? act step. Okay. Yeah, this was definitely interesting. Just travel through genres. Okay, so like if you're going to do that, it's totally fine. But you want to think about... Hold on, sorry, I'm trying to gather my thoughts together. Okay, so if you're going to tell a story, right, sometimes it's not even the story itself, but it's about how you tell it. And that's kind of what you want to think about whenever you have these crazy, like, polarizing ideas together, right? You have to find a way to tie these in together without it sounding like it's a completely different song. Alternating current step? I don't get the reference. So with that, the best way that I can tell you is to, like, for one, I think that this section can use more atmospheric stuff, right? And I think that like delays and just things that happen in the background, so like background layers and stuff, will really kind of help make this seem like it's more trippy or whatever, but more of a sense of like, here is something that is like kind of moving and going through something, right? So yeah, one thing that I think will really help you kind of bridge these two ideas is taking an element from here and starting to reverse it, or starting to slowly fade it in into this way, like in this part of the section. And then when you get to this part, you want to find something in here that works with this section and then make them cross blend. And I think that if you can pull that off, then that's how you can kind of make everything make sense out of the entire tune. One thing that kind of struck me as odd was your melody choice with the respace. That one. Yeah, that one doesn't really work for me. The I would go like boom, 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 boom. I'm just trying to lay down my ideas, not spending way too much time at each section, but also starts to get a little confusing. Yeah, for sure. And that's definitely a great way to write. But we're kind of at that point where like, okay, here are all the ideas. Now, how do we make them work together, right? The whole point of the stream is to get you out of the whip to a finished tune. So that's the strategy that I would implement to do that. But yeah, so like one other thing that will be helpful in that sense is like what you can even do is like, you've got these sections right here. So take a listen. Okay, so there's your intro, but then you've got this other transitional sound, right? And then you have like a couple of these things throughout. And so what you can do is even establish like a consistent theme between these parts, and that can be the narrator to help you go from one section to the other. So you really want to try to find some of these tools that you can identify, and that will be what you can pull from when something seems to sound like it's not making sense. Hopefully that makes sense. But that's pretty much what I would do in order to make all this stuff work. I definitely think that you can have more layers and more stuff happening in the background. Like even right here within this section, why not make music that is not predictable? What I'm talking about doesn't make it predictable. It's good storytelling. Good storytelling isn't always predictable. In fact, I'd say the opposite. Good storytelling usually has some kind of twist or surprise or some kind of element, right? Or some kind of revelation to it, or there's a lot of different ways to identify it. But there's the difference between something making sense and something not making sense. And what we're trying to look at here is figuring out what we can use in order to make it make sense. That's what the goal of this should be. Well, or not, or you could just not take my advice at all and do whatever you want to do, because that's your music and it's totally viable. But that's just my advice that I would give for that in particular. So yeah, find some other elements that you can add on top of that, and then find something that can cross blend in between the two to help make that make sense a little bit more. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. It's a good tune though. I think that like the ideas are solid on their own, but you just again have to find that bridge between. I mean, really, I really like the type of feedback you give, so I usually stick to the ideas that you present. Yeah, but that doesn't I appreciate that you like it, but that doesn't mean that you always have to like it or that I'm always right, you know, because I'm not always right. In fact, I'm never right. It's just whether or not you agree with it or not. So that's that. But yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Lol. That's funny. The second part, ARP, is made with VCV rack, modular, later simulator. Okay, do you have any ideas on what to change, add to this whip, or how to continue it? My English is terrible. Can you speak slowly and simply? Okay. What's supposed to happen Saturday? Okay, I do have an idea for you. I'll try to speak slower, unless if you're memeing me. But what I would do is when you get to the first section, I would actually push this back. And what I would do is a different bass line that's maybe just like a single note. So maybe just like a boom 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 boom. And then once you have that part, then I would go into the melodic aspect of it. But yeah, I think that really for the most part, sorry, I'm like trying to make sure to speak slower. But what I would do is just like, I think that this can use some more layers, because right now the energy is already pretty much at its peak because everything is kind of the same level. So you're giving away the drums right here. And what I might even consider is having a different drum kit that's more of just like more toned down, that focuses more on the music aspect. And then when you get to the main section, then let those really heavy drums kind of rain through. But yeah, you're already giving us that echo snare and clap, that echo kick and whatever, right at the beginning. So you don't want to like give us all the energy during the intro, because if you give us all the excitement, then you have to one up it in order to keep it interesting. So yeah, that would be what I do. But yeah, once you have that part in between, then you have that second section, and then you just repeat the music aspect of it, and then you've pretty much got half of a tune. And if you've got half of a tune, it's a lot easier to finish half of a tune than it is to finish a tune that you're barely starting. Hopefully that wasn't too fast, I think, but that's what I would do for this tune in particular. Oh, or you could just sing opera over it. That always works. Oh, okay. I wouldn't think about it. The idea of a soul is a last grasp at a reason not to off yourself. Can you repeat about pushback? Yeah, take this section. Wait. Take this section right here and move it over. Then create another main section right here that's just one note. So then go into the melodic part. So like you'd have a different main section at the beginning, or you'd have a different main section right there, and then you add it, you go into melody. Because what that will do is that will make it really heavy at first, and it will be like super emphasized on the rhythm. And then going into the melodic aspect of it, it will become pretty again. And like you have really good storytelling aspects, or like really good song flow from that. Yeah. But that's what I would do for that. So like don't cut anything away. If anything, like just move that over. and add a different main section to it, and then go into this section, because this actually sounds really good. So that's what I would do. A soul is a metaphorical shared suffrage, not a physical, ethereal thing that exists. It's the good that created the power to bring and save life. I'm being sarcastic. I love art and everything it embodies. It saves. Oh, gotcha. My bad. Text hard to sarcasm. All right. Well, you guys have a transcendental discussion. I'm going to focus on the music. Looking for feedback on song structuring. Should I add more variation between the phrases? Not sure if the last portion of the song fits within the halftime vocals. Halftime vocals. Thank you for the feedback. You're welcome. Wait. I feel like I've heard this. But that's impossible because you put this up an hour ago. English, please. Do you have like super stereo in your bass? Or is it that everything's in mono? Yeah. Sounds like everything is in mono. Yeah, I think that this idea is really solid and has a lot of potential. Your biggest enemy right now is your mix in particular, but I can't really tell you how to like quote unquote fix it. But what you can pay attention to is how much louder this part is right here versus this part. I feel like the vocals should be used as an intro, and maybe instead of having the whole beat play, you can do kind of like a clap buildup of like a ka, 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 and then have that play or play the vocals to the rhythm of that clap buildup, right? And then you can go into this part. But this part should be like the biggest, like this should be the hardest hitting part of the tune. And that's kind of like a common thing that we want to look at, because a lot of people that have sent in a tune recently, not just today, but like last week as well, have kind of like given out all of like your energy at the very beginning of the song. And so that kind of hurts your arrangement, if that makes sense. Unless if you want to go into something that's like really heavy at the beginning and then go into something that's like more chill and more mellow. It doesn't really seem like that was the goal of this tune in particular, right? So what I would do is like maybe not have the whole drums and stuff toward the beginning, and then you want to figure out how to make this part like super big, right? With I don't really know how you would categorize the burn, but the like horn sounding stuff. And what you can even do is you can elaborate on that too and make that bigger and then play that in a rhythm for the second part. So like the boom, right? And what I would do as well is with the variation, like you pretty much just have that pitch bend, and I can't really hear anything else what you have in the sub. So I would maybe see if you can variate that. I don't think that it needs to like have a melody for the bass or whatever, but adding some saturation would help, and then maybe changing just like the rhythm of it for a different section or so could be helpful in that way. Yeah, why does this get so much more quiet here though? And then also the whole tune is in mono. I want to hear what this sounds like in stereo. So that would be the next thing. Don't bounce in mono. That's not helpful. Alckemy Degoity /m/ Yeah. Aside from that, I think that like the arrangement is okay, like for like the actual parts and stuff. But again, I would find different things in there to kind of split it up, because right now it kind of just flows and it sounds more of like a trap tune. If you want it to be more halftime, like you got to find a place to let it breathe and give it space. It's not to say how Pauly describes my music, where it sounds sluggish by any means, right? But having little like kind of breaks within the rhythm of like or something like that of that sense will really help kind of make this have a deeper sense of rhythm, but also have space to breathe. Because right now, like it just goes and it never stops, right? I don't think the beat stops at all through the entire tune. Like, and this part right here could be an excellent place to do that, but I think like you just saturated it with like reverb and delay and stuff, and like if you can dry that out, then that will be able to make, you'll be able to make that stuff a lot more upfront, and then you can play with jigsawing it. Boom 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 boom. And that will create a much deeper sense of like a really cool and a much harder push and pull, because that's what I would look for if you're like talking about like doing halftime. But that's my vision of halftime. That doesn't have to be yours. But right now you're riding along this being more of a trap tune that's kind of abstract, as opposed to it being a halftime tune. If it was real, it wouldn't matter what you believe. They would just exist. Okay, yeah, still in the transcendentalism. Go for it. Not even going to get involved. But good stuff, man. Good stuff. Thank you for sending that in. All right, Pigments by Riley. Ooh. Hello, and welcome to the Alchemy channel. You're listening to Riley. Pigments. Pick it up on the Discord. Look for the finished version on SoundCloud. No, you guys are fine. I'm not going to do it right now. Otherwise, it's going to go into a completely different stream. Okay, I like this so much, we got to listen to this again. Insert Japanese anime. Vox. Yotta ne. Aishiteru. Doku detsuta. Nerdy. Ah, that's a fucked up rhythm, but it works. Maybe something, maybe keep it like that, because I like how that just totally threw me off, but maybe on like as a repeat, you can kind of continue that. To be honest though, like this is so cool that like I would just make it twice as long. I don't really feel like you need to change anything. This sounds so good. This is like an excellent interlude, or an excellent like this is like an Adult Swim bump to me. Sorry, we're gonna listen to it again because I like it so much. What's that one Zizzy tune that he got famous for? Is it a he? They? He sampled Beyonce. Da-da. That's what this sounds like a lot to me. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? I think Belief is like, oh, okay, it's still going on there. What is that tune? It's I think it's About You. I think that's the tune. This would be a perfect reference tune for that. Yeah, okay. Go listen to this tune. This would be a great reference tune. Just like the mellow part though, I don't really think that you need like the heavy aspect of it. But other than that, like honestly, Riley, whoever you are in this channel, I wouldn't change it. I think this is so good. Unless if you want to add some kind of background stuff to it, but like I really like what you did right here with like having such an empty space, but it still works so well. Yes, I love the fact that you missed a snare right there, and then you gave it to us right there. Like I have nothing but good things to say about this, to be honest. It's so like, I don't want to say that it's simple, but it's so simple in its presentation, and this is great. Release it and send it to me, please, because I like this tune a lot. Okay, we've got Jake, then we've got Gingerbread, then we have Unfixed. I've been thinking about working sound design stuff for too long. I got stuck in the endless finalization in my last sense. Okay, cool. Then we have Lex. Then we have Mo. We have Ethylated. And then we have Gingerbread again. Ginger, do you want to do this tune or do you want to do the other tune? Pick one. Because I only do one per submission. Or per artist.
You got a first-class ticket.
You want these hands?
Not a cloud in sight.
Last one. Okay. You'll still be next, okay? But I'll just play that tune.
Sunny skies.
Protest camp? Oh, dude. Yeah, that's such a cool rhythm. All right, so I'm not sure if this is more for memes or if this is like supposed to be a serious tune, but the vocal doesn't really help, obviously. But at the same time, like if you're wanting this to just be for memes, then I would say don't change it, right? But I think that like it really depends on where you want to take this track. But you've got some really strong elements in here that with a little bit of mixing, it can sound super duper cool. Yeah, you could expand on the bass line easily, and that's really like the main thing of this. It kind of reminds me a bit, well, it reminds me of a few different tunes, to be honest, but if I finished it, the vocal is gone. Okay, yeah, so take the vocal out, and let's talk about how to make this work as a tune. Having some kind of higher end instrument here, like bum 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 dum bum dum dum, and then having like a re of some kind of dissonant chord of something like that with some white noise will help you get into this part. That's really the only thing that you have to change to get there. Okay, so with that boom, I'm not really sure what you're doing with the stereo information, and you also might have like some crazy like middle mud or something that's making that too prominent within the mix. But I would say try to make that dry until it's done and then turn the delay on, because I really like what you did with the delay, but right now it's too wet and it takes away from the energy of the tune because your drums are very staccato and this has like too much sustain in it, so it doesn't play nicely with each other for the vibe that you're trying to establish. See how it kind of bleeds over? It goes like boom, wom, 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 and then you have the do-wom, the dim-pum-dum. Like the delay should cut off, I would say like a millisecond before that next hit comes in, because what it does is it creates a blend and everything just kind of bleeds over in that sense. But for this in particular, I think that having it more staccato will give you more space to play with like a snappier rhythm. Okay, and so like when you do moments like that, like you really want to like make this moment bigger. Don't just like do something different and let the drums play. Like add some kind of break fill right there, or add some kind of like stereo thing like white noise or something like that to make that bigger. It should be like, or you can even do like a fade in, right? So where it's like, right? Sorry, that's more jungle, but that's kind of. And then what I would probably do is like right there, I would add more rhythmic elements, and then maybe add some kind of like, just again, that top chord that's just like, and what that will do is it will give you padding on top to make it just a little bit more like it's emphasizing like the pocket rhythm aspect of it. But really like the big thing with this is that you've got like the whole thing is interesting throughout, but you don't have any progression to it, right? And so like what you want to think about doing within the arrangement is establishing a vibe, then keep the person in the vibe, and then try to figure out how long you can keep that idea interesting. And the way that you do that is like you have a main section 1, and then for the second part of the main section, which would be 1B, you add some kind of rhythmic element to it, or you add something that's new and fresh, but doesn't have to be completely different. And you can make it completely different, but just as a means of like how to go to the next thing, right? Dude, drum and bass is so hard. Drum and bass is so flipping hard. It's rough. So I feel your pain. Yeah, so even then, that was a cool fill, right? So like layer that up and like have maybe like another octave over it. Something like that, right? For that next section. And then what I would do is like, instead of introducing this second section right there, like I would actually maybe push that over and expand on this idea, just because this idea is so strong, but the song listening to it itself wants this to be more, like you want this idea seems incomplete, this part right here. So I wouldn't take this part out. I would just move it later into the arrangement and then really expand on this idea. And maybe try to focus on making that bigger as well, because it's such a cool thing that you have, but you just jump right into this switch up right here. And I don't think that like you can do it, but I don't think that you need to. Well, yeah, again, it always just depends on what you want to do. I'm loving how electronic and Tron, you got the bass line sounding to filter cyber sound sweep through with a little reverb carrying it out a little. It's funny, Richard, because I just told him not to do that. Yeah, I definitely would add some kind of other rhythmic element on top of that too whenever this section does come in. So, you know, just like a little bit of a break, like boom, something, you know, the ticka ticka, the shuffle aspect of it, the snare roll you can call it, or the ghost snares, or the hat shuffle, whatever. Just something in between right there would really help that out a lot too. I'm sorry, I was talking to my partner. What? Yeah, so I would even take this part and move it over there, then splice these two together, and then focus on just building the rhythm aspect of that. That would be the best advice that I can give you for this particular tune. But I do think that what you have is strong. It's just a matter of like, I didn't hear you. It's okay. Hey, Jean. Did I spell your name right? Or is it Jane? Jean? Lots of different ways to say that name. I've caused mass confusion by not paying attention. Dude, I get so confused, like, even without anybody talking. I get confused by my own thoughts. So, Yeah, that's what I would do for this tune, though. So you definitely have a lot of room to elaborate, and that's what I would maybe consider trying to do. But good stuff, Jake. That was cool. Thanks for the feedback. It would. The broken English is killing me. Okay, would it be corny to go halftime? It depends. It always depends. Depends on like what. It depends on what you want to do. Okay. Yeah, it just depends on how you do it, right? You can make it work. It's just a matter of like how you get there. If you haven't tried salvia, it's hard to explain. It's like a person is behind you and you can yell, "Oh, tell it's definitely female and definitely mad that you're in her world." Scary experience. Well, I can't say I've ever done that before, but I'll take your word for it. All right, so Ginger is actually up here. So we're going to play this tune, and then we're going to omit this one. So we've got Ginger, then we have Unfixed, Lex, Mo, Ethylated. And then I think that would be a good time to actually call it because we're hitting 4 o'clock soon. And I think that will probably take us into like 4:30. So let's go ahead and close the queue. Thank you, guys. Today we had some really good submissions. The Quayway is closed. Tanks. Thanks so much for submitting today. Yeah, I think that like even if I wanted to, I don't think that I'd have time to get to your guys' tunes. So I'm sorry, Eden. I still hearts. I guess we'll keep listening, but if you have access right there, okay, you changed it. Okay, so if you have access to like maybe like an Eastern voice, probably I think a male would actually work better for this particular song in particular, but for this song of like, wait, hold on. Something like that would be so freaking cool for that. And just like in the background, right? It doesn't need to be like the main thing, but if you, I'm so sorry if that came off as offensive. Like I'm sorry. I'm trying to convey an idea, so please don't take that as offensive. But having like an Eastern vocal right there would be really freaking cool. Just go sample one off YouTube or something.
Oh my god, I just made fucking cool.
Too soon. I'm sorry, Eden. I do have to go in like 20 minutes though. Yeah, I think everything fits really well. The only thing is that I think the transition between the fast part of the song and getting into this part was a little bit too soon. And then also the transition from going from like the orchestral aspect getting into I guess like the EDM part of it. We'll just call it that for now for lack of better description because it seems like it becomes something different all the time. But Yeah, I think like you did something that destroyed the quality of it, and so what I would do is maybe add in some other elements or transitional noises and stuff that kind of like bring the fidelity of the tune back up, because you go from this like really pretty contact orchestra type thing, but then like when you get into this section right here, it seems like it's under like a bit crusher, or like you've got some crazy EQ going on right here. How's everyone's gallbladder feel today? Hey, Bryce. Yeah, I don't know what you did with the quality of that, but it seems like that's severely diminished, and then the quality goes back up. So like maybe you could do that, but if you're gonna like go for that idea, then like really bit crush the hell out of it and add maybe like one clean element on top. Yeah, and I definitely think that this should go just a little bit longer than. And the reason why is because right now the way that you have this set up is that you're actually using this as a transition. So you're doing essentially two transitions, right? We just listened to about 10 seconds of music to get into this part. So like, let us hear it a little bit longer, right? I have a thick rack I made which put on all those sounds. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you distort the sound. It is in top shape, sir. Thank you for asking. Yeah, so that's kind of being REKT. So give us this a little bit longer, because this is like the new part, right? This is like what that whole buildup was for. Otherwise, you don't need that part. You can just kind of take that out and then go to the next section. But if you're going to have that in, then make it mean something. Or at least that's what I would do.
Oh my God, I just made
Turn it down? I think you need to turn it down. I think that... No, I was saying this section should be longer. Like at least twice the length. Like that little thing that you have right there, like that part is fine. Keep the ending of that, but I would do something that maybe you layer that same melody again, and then like add some other kind of like rhythmic element, or like just like continue to build the tension, because again, it kind of comes off as just being two transitions that kind of get into the rhythm stuff. But then once you have that, then like you've got pretty much like 6 sections to play with, so I don't think that you should have a hard time finishing the rest of the tune from there, right? And like I'm even hearing that vocal right here that I was talking about right here. That Eastern vocal would be super sick to kind of place in right there to go into the rhythm part. That would be a great way to kind of tie all this stuff together. Yeah, and then getting into the rhythm aspect, like don't change anything. I think that nothing needs to change. That sounded fantastic. I could never make something like that. So good stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much what I have for that one. So now we've got unfixed. Too much sound design. I got stuck in the endless finalization of the track. Lost the sense of form. Rhythm sounds like war. War never changes. Oh wait, war has changed. That's what it says. Bruh. Is this tune done unfixed? God damn it, you guys. Don't send me finished tunes. Send me like 2 minutes. It's not done. I need to change my snare. Anytime, dude.
Внимание. Начинаю отсчет. 5, 4, 3,
Eden, I feel the same way sometimes, dude. Yep, this tune's done. I can tell.
А я чего хочу я? Вернуться на землю? Для чего? У меня нет дома, нет никого. И все же я вернусь. Все мы рано или поздно возвращаемся со звезд на землю.
Yeah, that was a tune. That was definitely a tune. I don't speak Russian, so I'll try to just say this simply. I don't really think that you need feedback, to be honest. I think that this track can be, you can take off maybe this much of the track and then go to the outro. So like, even though I like all the stuff that's in here, I don't think that you need all that. I think the last section was a bit too long, but other than that, man, like I don't have anything. This tune is done. It's good. It's really good. There's a lot of people in my Discord that speak Russian that are very kind. So you can post for feedback here. But send me something next time that's like half as long, so that way I can be a little bit more like helpful. But to me, like, look at this, it's mastered. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. It's good, good stuff. If anybody can tell him that for me or them, then that would be great. Or if you can tell what I'm saying, then that would be good. I'm at a loss for what decision to make on that end. But yeah, dude, that was cool. I don't think that it needs to be as long, but other than that, I think that this is a really cool and really strong tune. Good stuff. I really like the nuance in here with the glitches and the stuff, and yeah, it's a cool tune. Okay, who is next? Where are we at here? We have Lex, and then we have Mo, and I think... Oh, then we have Ethylated, and then that'll be it. I got it. Thanks a lot anyway. Yeah. I have nothing but good things to say, so that's a good thing. Send me a tune next time that's a lot further from being finished, and then I'll be able to give you more advice on it. But when a tune is already pretty much done and there's nothing left to change, like, it's hard for me to tell you to do things differently, because it's already like, you don't have beat block. The tune is done. All right. Hey, Anthony. Wait. Aren't you Otst a lot? Or are you Anthony? Too many people with the same looking at two similar looking avatars. All right, so I'm gonna have some vocals soon on a decent singer to process and mix in, but for now I'm just trying to figure out a way to extend this another minute and a half. There's not much I can really do, but it's a cover, so I can probably do enough, and I guess anything you notice might be a bit wonky. Yeah, that's me. Okay. Don't dox me, bros. What does that even mean? Hey Lex, your snare is too loud. Okay, hold on. So this section can easily be twice as long, but instead of, again, having all of the stuff that you have over this, go into something that's a little bit more of a jammy thing. Bet I'll turn it down. I'm half messing. It is too loud, but I'm half messing with you. But duplicate this and go into something that's a little bit more of like an open drum thing, to where like you're just jamming out with the bass line, right? And then you can go into this part right here, which is the next section. You also turn the music down. Okay, so really what we want to focus on is this section, duplicating that, and then this section as well. And I think that, I'm not really sure what you did with the music or whatever, but you turned everything down, but even though you turned everything down, you still have all of the instrumentation here already. And so as opposed to kind of like what we said before of like giving it all to us, like you can just take one or two or a few of these elements, maybe not one or two, but a few of them, and focus on building a groove. And I think like that's one thing that can really help you out, is like figure out how to build a groove and how to like, how do I say this? I think we talked about it last week, right? But building tension and then building a groove as well is something that is really going to help your arrangements in general. Nah, did a lot of this myself, overlaid the guitar. I'm not saying that you didn't do it yourself. I'm saying like what you did was you turned the music down. Whatever, this is way more quiet than this part. But yeah, as opposed to having all of the instruments kind of play at once, like during this part, and then just putting drums over it, try to focus on building a groove in that sense of like, okay, well, you've got all these, you have guitars, you have the ska stuff, you have the pad and all that stuff. So, oh, okay. Cool drum embellishments. He was saying that you have cool drums. But yeah, so like starting from something that's a little bit more simple and then going into the complex aspect of things is really what's going to like take your music to the next level. And once you figure that out, I really think that something is going to click for you, because like you know how to put instruments together, and you know how to create a groove. It's just a matter of like figuring out how to introduce the groove, figuring out how to introduce a main part of a tune, and really that's the only thing that I would look at for your specific journey in music. That and like watch the levels of your drums, because you tend to like super loud snares. But it's kind of a meme at this point, so like I hope that you don't take that personal. It's kind of just I hope that's just a funny joke between you and I. But yeah, I think that like the problem that you have of being like, I need another minute and a half of content can easily be, I didn't just embellish the drums, the whole track isn't the original. No, I think what he was saying, like, because I don't know what the original is. I think he was just saying that you have cool drum fills, and I think like his vocabulary was embellishment as opposed to you did something different to the drums than what it normally was. I think that's, I don't know. Doesn't matter. But yeah, that's what I would do, because like that same problem that you're having is really like the root of what is causing you to get beat block, and that's just because we haven't figured out how to like actually properly arrange and how to like build that actual thing, right? I was just kind of like, what? Yeah, he was just saying that you have cool drums. I'm pretty sure, 95% sure that he was just saying that your drums are dope. But yeah, like I said, like if you can like space this out, so like take these elements apart and wait to introduce them, then like you will have at least double the content. And then that can allow you to have these other ideas, because you can start seeing this section or these sections right here like as individual pieces, and then what you can do is kind of play around and work more horizontally by not playing everything together at once, or doing like an 8-bar section with 2 of those elements, and then you mix and match. And that will help you continue the same idea of the tune, but then it will also help you bring everything together at the end to create the most interesting part of the tune. And then once you have that, like I think that writing music and finishing music will be super easy for you. It's just a matter of studying the arrangement aspect of that, which is what I would consider. But yeah, man, good stuff. I'm sorry that I don't really have like, okay, do this, 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 and this, but like it really kind of comes back to that same core idea about like understanding the arrangement aspect. And then, like I said, once you have that, you're golden. The tune is cool though, by all means. All right, we've got Mo now. I know this isn't your genre. I'm stuck with this for a long time. Any advice would be helpful. If it's country, I'm changing it. I'm sorry, Mo. Okay, it's not country.
Don't forget the love that we find.
is that just a random impact? Um, okay, you're right. It's not my genre, but I do listen to a lot of future bass via submissions here. Really, like what you need is kind of like what we were talking about from before, which is the idea of embellishment, because like you have the sections down, but you have so many details, or maybe not even so many details, but there's some key details that you're missing that will help make this seem like it's a lot bigger than it actually is. Like your main section, for one, is like really dry, right? And there's a lot of spaces in between that you can fill. And I think that like I actually like the fact that in some cases like it's just a brief moment of silence, but there's other little melodies, or like you can even fit that vocal in some of those places to kind of help that draw along. The other thing that you want to do that will help is like have like a layer of white noise over the top, and that will kind of help make everything sound sandwiched, I think is the best way to describe that. And kind of like what we were talking about on a tune earlier is like you can actually automate reverb to be really big, and then when the music stops you can close it out, or you can have like a short tail that will lead into the next part, and that will be an easy way to fill up some of those spaces I was talking about actually. But even on your build up, right, when you get into this part, like it doesn't sound all that interesting because you're not really like you're not adding anything to it. Like you can add like an alarm over this, or like a what is that? Oh my god. What is the name for that? Like a siren or something like over the top, and like you can have like a really slow riser kind of go over the whole thing while this is building up. And you also want to have some kind of impact, or it doesn't have to be a kick, because I know that you're doing a false drop, but there should be some kind of like wash or something, or some like that transition needs work in itself, and that once you get that down will make the main section hit a lot harder. But I can't say that like what you have already is already pretty strong. It's just a little bit empty. And that's kind of what I feel for the rest of this tune in general, is that there's just a lot of emptiness. Like a pad right here, it could be super quiet, right? But just something to fill out the frequency range. But if you look at your EQ like on a parametric scale, then you'll see that like with that throughout the whole tune in different frequencies at different times, but you'll see that you've got a lot of holes. And like what you can even do with stuff right here is like you can layer like with a really quiet layer, but like in this life, like you can like pitch that up an octave and play it really low above that, and then like have some kind of like ping pong delay or something, right? So any word that you might want to emphasize or something can be very well, you can layer that, and then that will sound so much better in that sense, because like you've got this like fully fledged thing, as opposed to just like those three elements that you have right now, which is the guitar, the melody, and then the vocal. Yeah, and so like right there, when you get to that transition, like I think that you need like a bigger riser and a bigger impact and stuff too, because that's really what's going to make that like build the energy in that. And you can even take a piece of the vocal and kind of repeat it in some instance, but what you're trying to do is like focus on building the tension on that aspect. And like I think that what you have so far is a good start. It just needs more. But because you're cutting it off like that in that sense, and it's so dry, then you're losing a lot of the energy that you're building, because it's like, here's a bunch of energy and then it stops. Here's a bunch of energy again and then it stops. You want to have something that is continuously building over time, so that way the release is a much bigger release and it has a sense of euphoria within future bass anyways for this particular genre, in order to make that more impactful. So that's kind of the philosophy that I would throw at this in particular. But once you have this stuff kind of down, then you just repeat the hook, and then you kind of go back into the same thing, or you can do a different main section where I would say duplicate and variate. But I don't think that like you have as much work to put into this tune as you might think. It's just a matter of like how you perceive what needs to be done, right? But yeah, that's still a cool tune. Is Mo even here anymore? Maybe I've just been talking to myself. I've been talking to myself for 20 minutes. All right. Alckemy really struggling with vocal processing. Got some on the build up and the second phrase drop. I don't think it fits my singer. Didn't use a metronome. I think it's made it really awkward. Okay. Oh yeah, it's out of key. I'd also say that you've got too many layers for your kick and snare. That's really nice though. Issues with recruiting hippies at protest camp. They're protesting. How are you going to recruit somebody that's protesting? Yeah, she's totally off. Yeah, the vocals. Yeah, the vocals are ruining this tune for you. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, and I mean that in a nice way. Like, I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a mean way. Maybe not necessarily in a nice way. But the way that she's singing over this makes it sound like she doesn't know what she's doing, and she's also like bored and uninterested. Like, look at the way that this pitch drifts. Listen to the drift in her tune right here. That's boredom. The thing is, though, is that like if she actually had a little bit of focus into this, I think that her voice like is naturally pretty, but she's not trying. You could tell that she's not trying. I think that like if she actually didn't sing and she just kind of spoke in key as opposed to actually trying to sing, then this would be a lot more. Then it would fit a lot better. But you can save this. Like, you can pitch this up and put that into key, and then like maybe just use like one phrase that works, because trying to go through the whole freaking sample that she recorded or whatever can be kind of cumbersome. So you can match the key and then just like repeat that with a big ass delay, and maybe have like one or two phrases throughout the whole tune, and you can still make that work. But her singing is just she's not trying. See. That's let auto-tune be your hero. No, she did a vocal layer based on the tune. Maybe she's I hope that she's not in here listening to this right now, because I'm not trying to roast her. But it definitely does seem like she's either not interested or there's something that she's not hearing within the tune that is making this off. But yeah, that's not me saying that she's a bad singer by any means. It's just a matter of like putting focus in the right place, if that makes sense. But like when you do stuff like that, you kind of just yeah, you can tell. The rest of the tune sounds really good though, man. I think like the only other thing that I would say for this is that like your kick sounds it sounds like your kick has too many layers. I'll try to tune her. Any tips on how to use auto tune, etc? I do not use auto tune, but what I would do is what you can do to find what key she's singing in, and like it's kind of hard because it drifts, right? But where the wood's acoustically corrected, that's probably your issue. Is find the key of the tune, right? And then take a parametric EQ and find her most prominent resonance or her most prominent frequency of what she's singing during the regular part of like not changing the key. And then what you can do is use a frequency shifter as opposed to transposition to match it. So like, let's say, here, let me see. Let me find something I have an EQ on. Okay, let me solo this. Okay, so let's say she's singing right here, right? But let's say your tune is in the key of, wait. No. There we go. All right, so this is at D7 plus 26 cents, right? So figure out what key she's singing in and then use a frequency shifter to move it down. So if I want, let's say we've got this little peak right here, but I want this to be toned or tuned to B5, then what I would do is grab a frequency shifter like this. I like the kilohearts one. Shit, I say that and then I grab the wrong one. Okay, so now I'm going to try to bring that resonance down to match with D. Oh, sorry. That should be on this side. Wait. No, it should be on this side. This isn't a really good example because I'm using an EQ on a piece of this, but okay, let's do this. All right. Okay. Wait, fuck. Damn it. Sorry, hold on one second. This will make sense in a second. Okay. So you got this cute little thing. Let's grab a frequency shifter. And let's grab a Pro Q. Yeah, but somebody else might not know, so. Okay, so that's our first note, right? So our first note is C. But what I want to do is I want this to match to F. So now I'll grab that frequency shifter. And now this is sitting at F4. And I would do this, like you can transpose it, but I find that doing it this way, like I went obviously overboard to like a really far amount, but if you kind of do it in that way, it would actually be a lot cleaner. And that's what I would recommend for that. That would be the best way that you can fix that. It's a really good idea to, is it a really good idea to use a frequency shifter to tune melodic sounds? Yeah, I'd rather use a frequency shifter than transposition if you have a sample. I just wanted something that sounds like it's actually coherent lines instead of just random samples, if you get me. Yeah, well, like, she sung the song for you, right? So you can use pieces of that. The whole thing might not be usable, but you can still take parts of that. Wasn't I supposed to have a delay on that? Oh, it is on there. It's just not. Oh shit, no. Okay, yeah. But in any case, that's what I would do for your particular tune, and just take little parts of that and frequency shift it. And what you can even do is, like, once you actually have something in key, then you can throw that phrase into a granular synth and stretch it out and use that as a pad so it can still work. So, like, you just have to be a little bit creative with what you're working with, but you can make it work. Sig, thank you very much, man. I hadn't contemplated her being out of key. I was just really stressed thinking it was horribly out of time. Well, it is. It's not horribly out of time, but it is out of time. But it's the bigger thing is that it's out of key. Sounds cool as a Vox layer would use Melodyne or an alternate for the vocal. You can do that, or what is the other thing? Nectar, or I don't know. Yeah, you have options. That's the big thing. So yeah, I think you were the last person. Yeah, you were the last one. So I've already used a huge 100% wet reverb to make a pad. Well, you can still use another pad and put it in the background. Or you can pan it out somewhere, or you can have it do a ping pong delay. Like, there's still ways that, like, you can layer pads and instruments over each other. It's just a matter of, like, how you do it with taste. But back crack. But yeah, good stuff, man. Athletic, it's good to see you, and I hope that you're doing well with your interesting living situation. For everybody else, thank you so much for joining me today. I think that's gonna be the end of the stream. Much love to you all. Consider supporting the channel if you guys feel generous, or not. If you can, if anybody did not hear me at the beginning of the stream, if you guys can, like, you don't have to watch my videos, but do me a favor and just, like, go like my videos and go, like, put a BS comment on them or something. That would really help a lot. Take it easy. I'll try and get my 13 seconds to 30 seconds next time for next week. Okay, I have faith in you, Eden. You can do it. But that would really help me, just because for some reason my videos are not being put out right now. Like, my watch time, my subscription, like my sub increase went from 400 a month to like 193 a month. And I don't know if, like, maybe people just aren't interested in my videos anymore, or I'm not putting out quality or whatever, but nice one, Meta. But yeah, if you guys can help me with some interaction and stuff, and help me get back in the algorithm. I believe in my content, and I think that if I was putting out some BS, I don't think I would ask that, but I do think that I have valuable information. So if you can help me spread it. So yeah, thanks everybody. Much love to you all, and I will be here tomorrow for some production related things. I need to finish, or I actually have to restart our collab. So I still have everyone's submissions, but my computer was wiped, so our Discord collab is in limbo until I figure out what to do with that. But it will be done at some point. It's been something, I can tell you that much. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. The Discord is where the party's at. You guys know where the Discord is because you had to submit. And I'll see you all later. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.